Thank you for inviting me to your office in Enderis 353 Candons, and I understand that you're not able to make our faculty meeting, but you'd like to talk a little bit about the MAT process.
Yes.
So we just have some questions. So if you wouldn't mind speaking into the microphone for us.
Not a problem. I
All
know
right.
the acoustics in here are not so great.
Not so good, not so good. So can you just tell us a little bit about what MAT is?
Thank you for sharing the mic. So the MAT is a Master's in Teaching. It is I guess you could say a different way to get your teaching certification. It's geared mainly for folks who already have an undergraduate degree. There has been lots of talk about it recently because of some interest from MPS wanting to create a partnership to form an MAT with UWM and some of our teaching programs. But I think it's a program or a route, a pathway to certification that is something very worthy of exploring, especially as we see the teaching profession shift in who it attracts, and also to a different generation of how folks come to their current career path. That's what it is. Do you have a follow-up?
I do. So, out of curiosity, how did this discussion get started? You talked a little bit about MPS and getting together to start this. Is this just an MPS project, or is this something that's going to expand to other districts?
Background in journalism.
I'm channeling my inner Oprah.
Okay, that cannot
Okay.
be edited out.
Okay. Originally, Hope came to me in like late August and just said, "Can I meet with you?" And she said, and I said, "Sure." And I met with her, and she just said, earlier this summer, the chairs met with Keith Posley, who is really interested in setting up a pathway for paraprofessionals to get their certification. And their human resource person at that time, she was very interested in how it could be a master's as well. And she just said, "Is this something that interests you? Is this something that you would be interested in going forward?" She said, "I know that you like to, you're lots of time thinking about innovative ways to think about things, and that's why I invited you here." So, because I said to her, I'm not running any program, so it's not necessarily like I can say, "Oh, this program would fit." I said, "I do know that the art education program has been doing something similar with this through the Arts Eco grant."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "But I would definitely be willing to talk more about it." So then I brought it back to the first MLC meeting, Multiliteracies, Languages and Cultures meeting, and I just said, "This is something that's being thought about. Is there any interest? Does anybody else have any interest in this?" I said, "It seems interesting to me, but what about all of you?" And there's lots of program heads at that meeting, and they were really excited about it, like way more excited than I expected. I thought it would just be something that, here, Hope had this conversation, put this out there, what do you think about this idea? But they were very interested, and many felt like it's the future of our programs. Not that it would supplant other pathways, but that pathway along others would be necessary for teacher education to continue going forward. So then we just kept talking about that there. Did I answer everything?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
you did. Yes, you did. So, so who else is part of this group that's talking, and what are the next steps?
Okay. Well, the MLC committee has been talking about it, but I wouldn't say necessarily that its home is in the MLC committee, because right away in September, Hope also did call a meeting of interested folks who would want to talk more about it, more specifically thinking about the MPS version of like what could that look like. But I think that the MLC committee has been interested in the MPS component, yes, but really more largely beyond, in terms of thinking of what could that be for our department and for our programs. Our next steps, was that the prep? Okay,
Yes.
Next steps, I know that many more details are known related to what the MPS component or opportunity involves. But I think next steps for the MAT would just be like, how would each program want to proceed with this possibility? Would there be opportunities for collaboration across programs? Would it be the same? Would each program do it in their own way? Who wants to keep doing this? And I even brought it up at our last meeting. I said, "Hey, this is where things are at now. This is already when we kind of knew that special ed was going to be kind of the chosen program."
Yeah.
I said, "Do people
I feel
still?"
a little, I'm being Jewish. I'm feeling a little like we are the chosen
Yes.
people again.
Yes, you are the chosen. Yes, you're the chosen to carry it forward. And so people are like, are you still interested in this? I don't want this to be just something that I'm interested in. And they said, "Yes, we're interested in this. We want this to continue going forward. We want to talk about this more, because we think that our programs need to think about it." One person even said that, "I feel that my professional existence relies on this, in the sense that I don't see a future for
Okay.
my role without this.
So where are we now in terms of the process? Where are we now?
Well, I think now we're at the point of programs. I can't really say this.
Mhm.
I'm not sure where it is at. I think it's really like what programs want to be involved in this and think about this more and plan what this would look like. And then some programs are already kind of somewhat doing this. Like if I think if you look at the Max Step program, theirs is many of the participants in that program are either super seniors, a fifth year senior, or post-backs coming back from different careers, coming into it with degrees sometimes that are not as connected to what they're teaching. But I think it would be just next steps would be like, what does this look like, and how do we move this forward? What can we learn from the Ex-Ed
Right.
program and what you all do and come up and create with? And
Yeah. So would other people be, if they're interested, would they be able to attend the meetings?
oh yes,
Okay.
I think anybody's welcome.
Okay.
I mean, Hope has even thrown food at us, saying, here's a space, let's talk about this, what could this look like?
Okay.
And I very much appreciate the food. There was no bad metaphor intended with throwing food at us. But yeah, so I think anybody's who's interested in looking at what this might be, could look like, is welcome to talk about this more. I think we kind of have it as somewhat of a running agenda item at the Multiliteracies, Languages and Cultures Committee, the MLC committee. But I think it's just about, okay, what are our next steps? How do we take this forward? And for different students to be able to access this career path, especially people, second career folks,
Yeah.
folks that, I think it really speaks a lot to some of the secondary programs too, where they have a degree in history, or they have a degree in English, or they have a degree in communications, and they, a few years later, as they are in their mid-20s, are like, I really want to teach. And what is the pathway for them, and what can that be, and how can that be streamlined, and how can that there maybe be collaboration across programs around that. So
it started really as the MPS pilot program, moving into an MAT after that, but it really is long-term looking beyond that. It's really looking at other opportunities, not just within MPS, but other districts and other people within UWM.
Yeah, I think it could have an embedded framework with a district specifically, or it could be just more generally having some of these post-bac or MAT programs taking courses together. I think it could look in different ways. Okay. My certification experience was such that it was there were undergraduate pathways, and then there was a broad range of MAT. They were MEDs is what they're called, but they were three semester pathways to getting your teaching certification with a little bit of follow-up to get the master's.
Good.
So,
right. Excellent. Well, I think those are all the questions that I have right now, but I'm sure we'll have more, and perhaps we can do an in-person interview again.
I know, you're welcome to come back to 353. It's just such a great place to be.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, Candace.
Right, bye-bye.
Who's going to drop the mic?
Oh yeah, drop the mic. Come get a close-up on her Wonder Woman tattoo.